With Cristiano Ronaldo leaving Juventus for Manchester United, a lot of coverage was focused on how this deal came about, and rightfully so. It went from Ronaldo being close to joining Manchester City, and then to a complete 180 and the eventual signing with Manchester United. And there was plenty of talks of how United legends played a role in getting him on board. But what about his time at Juve? And how and why things ended there? Was it considered a success? Was he really bought simply to win the Champions League? And who will make up for the missing goals? Hey, I'm Adrian and welcome to Rabona TV. Welcome back to subscribers who are part of our growing community here, which by the way, if you find yourself enjoying the content, then do be sure to hit that subscribe button. It's free, no hidden fees here. For this video, I was lucky enough to speak to Giuseppe from the YouTube channel GJustJuve.
Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel.
A channel all about Juventus, brought to you in English, which is actually one of the many languages the very talented Giuseppe speaks. Do be sure to check out his channel, linked below. But the credentials don't stop there, my friend. Giuseppe is also the host of Juventus's official live streams in English and in Italian now and then, alongside another friend of the channel, Marco Messina from IFTV. So guys, without further ado, let's get into this, as I had a lot of fun speaking with Giuseppe, and it's been so United-centric, all of this coverage of his transfer to Manchester United. Makes sense. Let's get into Juve's side of things. Let's go back quite a bit actually, because there had been rumors about a year prior to Ronaldo actually leaving this summer, and a couple of Instagram posts that didn't do much to sort of help those rumors or to quell them in any way. But when did you think that this possibility became real that Ronaldo would be leaving? Was it the Allegri press conference on Friday? Was it the Udinese match where he started on the bench, or was it something else?
The first time I started to believe in it, that there was a possibility and an opportunity for him to leave, was on the 24th of May 2021, because he posted actually a really cryptic message on his Instagram where it looks like already a farewell. Cristiano Ronaldo was already writing a lot of own records, praising himself for everything that he achieved in 3 different countries, UK, Spain and Italy. And in that message, it looked like maybe he can already leave. Then of course he went to national team with Portugal, and I remember there was the question if he really wanted and would stay at Juventus, and he didn't answer like 2 years ago when he said 1000%, because he was really sure of 1000% he would remain. This time he was really cryptic as well, saying let's see, I'm focused on Portugal and let's see what will happen. So that was already the second time where I really was thinking there could be the possibility. Doesn't mean that he would leave. I was always, like the guy that was thinking if he put a foot in La Continassa in Torino, it means that it's okay, he will remain. That was really my belief. If he doesn't come back, he leaves. If he comes back, he remains. And actually, I was fooled. But when I really started to believe in it was, with all the rumors and before the press conference of Massimiliano Allegri, when he said, when he announced it, it was actually known already. The day before, he had a small injury on his arm. If you follow the career of Cristiano Ronaldo, I never saw him leaving a training because of a problem on his arm. So I was like, okay, it's clear, he will leave.
By the way, I don't think you were the only one that was fooled, because I think it was Pavel Nedved himself said at the beginning of May that, also Pirlo and Ronaldo will both be staying at Juve. So I think, once he went away to Portugal, and that Instagram post that you mentioned, the first one, him saying goodbye, and then the other one when he was dismissing his rumors of going back to Real Madrid, where he didn't say that he would stay at Juventus. He just sort of said, stop playing with my name. My history with Real Madrid is over. It's written. But let's move on to the reasons that you think, that you could guess. I know maybe you don't speak to Cristiano Ronaldo personally, but what do you think was the reason for him wanting to leave? Would you say that, things just didn't go as he had hoped in Turin? Was it the changing of the coach every season? What do you think?
But I really believe that he wanted a new challenge in his career, because we know that Cristiano Ronaldo is a winner. Is a winner, someone that is fighting for his personal records more than for the team records, and I have no problems with that. But it's clear that he's more individualist than a team player, and I believe that he understood the moment of Juventus, that we are in a bit more difficult situation. Financially, it's clear, it's mentioned everywhere, so it's not a secret that it's a bit more difficult, but I believe that 95% of the teams are in a really difficult moment. He understood it. he is going towards 37, so he's getting also a bit older, and at a certain moment, okay, you put everything aligned and then you think about yourself, like Cristiano Ronaldo always did, and he said, I want a new challenge in my career in a other top team, because Juventus is a top team, but he wanted something else, and trying to win again, maybe the Champions League, maybe having new feelings, breaking new records. And I believe that from the moment that Manchester United came after City, that was the perfect deal, of course, because he goes back to one of his previous loves. But I think that he already made his mind clear towards the end of last season, where, you know, the last game of the season, he didn't participate.
That final game of last season, that's a big statement, you know, because that was, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it was against Bologna, and you guys hadn't yet secured Champions League football, not yet at least.
Not yet, because we had to win. That was an obliged to win. Should have been an easier game. Indeed, we won 4-1, but we were not even master of our destiny, because we were waiting the result of Milan and Napoli. At the end, Faraoni from Verona saved our asses, because equalizing versus Napoli brought us in Champions League, but we had to win that game. And he was there with the team, but he didn't enter because we didn't need him. But it's true that, you know, you're asking yourself, how is it possible that he's not participating to that game?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's quickly just jump back to Juve side of things. Why is it, you know, we've seen, this is an extreme example, of course, but Kylian Mbappe and PSG, we're seeing his club say, there's no way we're selling him. We want to keep him. What was the motivation behind Juventus being so willing to let go of Ronaldo? Was it strictly a financial type of thing? Because otherwise you think that he would have been sticking around?
Financial, absolutely yes, because the salary from Cristiano Ronaldo was out of proportion in post-COVID, or can we call it post-COVID? Actually, no, because we are still in COVID period, but in COVID period was really something big and huge to carry on for Juventus. And two, Juventus, if you look at the history, because for the people that sometimes forget, but Juventus is an iconic historical club that is born in 1897. We always work like that. If a player is not happy and smiling anymore, like a Zinedine Zidane, for example, like a lot of players in our history, we move on. It's better to have the best player of the world somewhere else with a smile than having him in your team without a smile.
I think that's a great way of looking at it. And I think that that's something that, you know, a lot of supporters will look past, because it plays a major role. And especially for someone like Allegri, who's taking over the team and he's trying to turn them around, trying to get them back to where they were. If you have someone that doesn't want to be there, not to say that Ronaldo would be someone that would bring down the rest of the dressing room, because I think he is a pretty good professional in that regard. Absolutely. But when you're trying to all sort of pull together in the same direction, you want everyone pulling in the same direction, right? So yeah, I think that there's a lot to that, Pepe. I think that that's good.
While Cristiano is at the end of his project with Juventus, the end of Ronaldo and the beginning of Allegri.
And let's start with you, actually. This will be like therapy. How do you feel about Ronaldo's departure from Juve?
How can I say? Devastated in a way and happy in another way. It's really mixed feeling, because I try to be a supporter of a team that always try to see the 360 degrees of things. And today I have to say it's a 50-50, because losing Cristiano Ronaldo, you lose on the sportive side. As I already told you, you can't replace a Cristiano Ronaldo. 29 goals in Serie A last year, more if you count all the competitions, 101 goals in 134 appearances. So really, really sad for that, and especially on the timing, because on the 27th of August, we already started Serie A. So it's really hard to accept. And then you have not only the sportive part, but also the business part, because Cristiano Ronaldo is a machine in terms of media, you know, so you lose a lot. Look at my channel. I have a small channel, and from the moment he left, I had like 500 people leaving, just to tell you the impact and the importance of Cristiano Ronaldo. My generation and a lot of people are supporting a team first, and they are always saying team are bigger than any player. But I believe that Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi are the two game changers in that, in new generation that starts to support, like in NBA, individuals more than teams.
Now, you mentioned being about 50-50 on him leaving. And I think that seems, from what I'm seeing on social media, I know social media is not representative of all Juventus supporters, of course, but it seems like there is a bit of a split amongst the supporters. So based on what you've seen, based on what you've heard, speaking to other people, do you think that overall the fan base sort of echoes your sentiment, or is there a lot that say, this is way better for the club? Ronaldo was at fault for some of our deficiencies on the pitch and off of it financially, or what's your take on that? How do the supporters sort of feel in general?
No supporter is wrong and no supporter is totally right, especially when you take, that extreme part of it's all because of Ronaldo, or it was all thanks to Ronaldo. I always think that both parts have something right. Fans are saying Cristiano Ronaldo messed up the team because he was the individual that was attracting everything, and he was actually so strong in terms of personality that everything had to go through Cristiano Ronaldo. Few stats. Cristiano Ronaldo, before him, the 3 years before, Juventus scores 75, 77, and 86 goals before Cristiano Ronaldo. When he arrived, the 3 years, we scored 70, 76, and 77. So we scored less with him than without him. There is a famous press conference of Massimiliano Allegri. Juventus always won 9 Scudetto in a row. There were always questions about scoring more goals for Higuain, scoring more goals for Dybala, or for whoever. And once Massimiliano Allegri said in press conference, the team that owned the top scorer of Serie A at the end, they don't win Serie A. In all my years, and even with Conte, Juventus always won the Scudetto without having the top scorer. It can be a casualty, but last year, the time that we lost the Scudetto, Cristiano became a top scorer of Serie A. Can be a casualty. So, I believe that, of course, having a personality and a phenomenon, a great player, greatness like Cristiano Ronaldo, a young Chiesa at his first year at Juventus is more keen to try to give it to Cristiano to do it himself. A Kulusevski can be impressed about the Cristiano Ronaldo. So I understand the fans that are saying that with Cristiano, we couldn't play as always like we wanted. So I understand the one that said it was really hard. On the other side, when people are saying he was saving your asses and he was the one that scored, look at the stats and etc., 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 it's also true. Because when we are losing 1-0 versus Spezia and he enters in the second half, the magic happened and we win 2-1 thanks to him. The strength of doing things that nobody else can do. Goals versus Sampdoria, the guy is jumping like 3 meters high. Nobody else can do that on earth. We will miss him, and he saved us a lot of time thanks to individuality. On the other hand, Cristiano Ronaldo was also one that you had to play with him and for him. And then you have a lot also of consequences of having a personality like him. You can't sub it when you want to. If he doesn't want to travel with the team to Benevento because it's too far away and it's not important for him, he decides not to go. Not traveling, it's impactful. So it's a 50-50.
I don't know if you know this, Pepe, but my parents are Portuguese. So I follow the Portuguese national team very closely, obviously. And it's the same sort of thing where, you see the team you can see where the arguments can come up where people say, oh, sometimes the team plays better without him, because you see that with Portugal now and then. They had one of their best games that I've ever seen under Fernando Santos was against Croatia in the UEFA Nations League. And that was without Cristiano Ronaldo. And the rest of the team played incredible attacking football, not this sort of slow defensive counter-attacking football that Portugal is known for now. But that's just the thing with having a star like Cristiano Ronaldo in your team. He's not a man, he's a planet, basically. He has his own gravitational pull when he's on the pitch. And players, I think subconsciously even, will start trying to just default to him. They'll default to maybe a Cuadrado to cross it into him or something like that, So there's absolutely something to that. And then there's absolutely something to what you also said with him propping up and bailing out teams all the time. And he almost did it in his final game with Juve as well. So that's just more credit to it. Something that is repeated over and over, and you and I were talking a little bit about this before we even started here, but something that's repeated over and over in the media is that Cristiano Ronaldo was brought to Juventus in order to help them be that finishing touch. Under Allegri, I think they made 2 finals in the Champions League and ended up losing both. And so you bring Cristiano Ronaldo, a specialist, we'll call him, in the Champions League. And, now that he wasn't able to bring that title to Juventus, a lot of people are saying that, it was sort of a waste of time or a failure. But was this even the case? Was he even really brought in strictly to win the Champions League? And if so, is it fair to judge him for not being able to do so?
For me, but I'm probably one of the only one on earth, I never heard that Cristiano Ronaldo was brought to win the Champions League. This is a fan story. Why is that? And I understand that totally, fans, because we are missing the Champions League since 1996, that's one. Because we come from Scudetto, we arrived 2 times in the final. What do we miss? We miss Cristiano Ronaldo to win it. We miss him. Cristiano Ronaldo comes, and then everyone is saying, Juventus, they go full power to win the Champions League, what they miss. And of course, if you bring Cristiano Ronaldo, you want to win the Champions League. But for me, it has never been the priority number 1 why you bring Cristiano Ronaldo. In Italy, Juventus is the biggest club. You can say whatever you want. You can support whoever you want and respect for that. But Juventus is, fact, the biggest club. Biggest loved club, biggest hated club. Because it is the biggest club. We bought our stadium. So we have our own stadium. Only team in Italy at that time. Then you have a smaller teams that also try to have their own. But we are the real first one with our own stadium. We did everything we could in Italy. Merchandising, for example, the deal with Adidas. Juventus said at a certain moment, no, we don't want to receive a fee and you take care of everything. We will take it for our own and we will work on it. So Juventus did everything they could to increase their revenue financially. But at a certain moment in Italy, you reach a roof that you can't go over, because the goal of Andrea Agnelli, the president, was to be able to increase the revenues so that you will compete not with Milan, Inter, Napoli, but you will be able to compete with Paris Saint-Germain, Manchester United, City, Chelsea, these Real Madrid, Barcelona, these big clubs that earn so many more than us thanks to TV revenue, because of merchandising, and so on and so on. How can you expand your brand? By going globally. If Italy, you reach the roof, you go global. That's what you have to do. That's the only thing. They look at the numbers. They say, okay, it's a big investment in terms of money, because the salary is something that we never did because of 100 million valued. But the guy will bring us so much. Our 5-year plan will go so much faster in terms of revenue, increasing revenue, that's the biggest occasion. And to be honest, if you look at that side of the things, Cristiano Ronaldo was not a flop, but a top thing. They did really well, because look at social media, look at awareness, look at everything that Juventus actually was on the papers and everywhere. They did something amazing. Then, and that's another part of the story, was it successful on the pitch? Was it actually a big return on investment? Yes or not? That's another part of the story. But at that moment, the priority of Juventus was not to win the Champions League thanks to Cristiano Ronaldo, because Champions League is a competition that you cannot plan. It's impossible. You know it yourself. You arrive in semi-final, you have a red card, you have an injury, and you're out. So, of course, you want to win it. Of course, it's the icing on the cake. But a club like Juventus, and whatever club in the world, except of Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City, except of these two, you never buy players because your only objective is to win the Champions League. It should be, on top of it.
It's one of those things that it almost went, well, I wouldn't say that it went strictly beyond football, because I think that signing Cristiano Ronaldo for a club like Juventus, who is a huge name in world football, but perhaps doesn't have the spending power that, the Man Cities and the PSGs do, etc. Signing someone like Cristiano Ronaldo almost brings a little bit of credibility, in a sense that, like, look, we're still here and we can still mix it up with the European elite. What is Ronaldo's legacy at Juve, actually? Let's talk about that. What is his legacy at Juve before we get into who fills him in? What's his legacy going to be like at Juve? How will he be remembered, do you think?
Cristiano Ronaldo for me was the best thing that Juventus could do in the most unfortunate moment ever. And then I'm speaking about collateral thing that you couldn't expect, like COVID.
Yeah.
No supporter. Can you imagine? I was one of the lucky ones that saw him a few times at the stadium. Valencia, first time of Champions League, when after 22 minutes he was sent off because, remember that moment? I was there. It was his first game with Champions League with Juventus. Crazy. Unfortunate moment because you have a COVID pandemic, and for more than 1 year, nobody was there at the stadium to see Cristiano Ronaldo. It stopped a lot of revenue possibility also to buy. How I will remember it, the greatest ever to have in our team, and I will always be blessed for that and happy, and I will always remember Cristiano Ronaldo playing for Juventus, but in probably the wrong moment. Now, what he will leave to the team, I believe it will be his professionalism, his constant will to better, working hard, arriving as first at the training, going away as the last one, with the winner's mentality. That's something that players that are there will always remember and will have to try to give. Juventus has already that DNA of vincere non è importante, l'unica cosa che conta. Winning is not important, it's the only thing that matters. But if you can pair it with a machine like Cristiano Ronaldo that have shown that 3 years on the field, I believe that's something really beautiful to remember. How the club will remember it in 10 years, it's a machine that arrived from another planet and that was able for 3 years to break every possible record. And we have to be proud of having had Cristiano Ronaldo in our team.
One of those things that he won was actually the top scorer. And that begs the question of goals at Juventus. So to wrap things up here, Beppe, how is this going to work for Juventus? Are they going to bring someone in? Is Moise Kean coming in to take care of that? Is Paulo Dybala going to have one of his best seasons since those early years under Allegri? What's going to happen there?
I hope it will not turn out as it happened with Empoli. That's really important. We will need some time, okay? The players will have to step up because individually you can't replace him. Moise Kean, that I really love, will not be the player to replace Cristiano Ronaldo. Some people are saying, don't give him the 7 because you will put some pressure on him. No, even if you take the 7, you can't be compared to Cristiano Ronaldo. So Juventus will have to work on one thing that is really important, and that's called Juventinità. That Juventus feeling. If you have a Locatelli coming in and speaking about his grandmother that was angry with him when he scored with Milan versus Juve, and all his family is Juve fan, that's one thing. You have a Federico Chiesa that is a fan of Juve since he's a kid, and the guy is a fighter. You have a Dybala that was confirmed at the center of the project and receives the vice captain band, and probably 80% of the games he will be the captain. It's time for him to step up. We have a Giorgio Chiellini that extended for 2 years. Maybe the most important one, Allegri, that refused Real Madrid, PSG because of the love of Juventus. I think that sense of Juve will have to come up, and they will have to show to everyone that we will never replace individually Cristiano Ronaldo, but together we will have to share what he brought us. It will be hard. It will be really hard, but starting the project of Juventinità, working towards the summer of 2022-2023, where we'll have a bit maybe more cash flow and possibility to have a bit more diverse players that will arrive and grow up also the quality, because at the end, a great trainer is great, nice young players are great, but you still need that experience if you want to be still at the top like Juventus should be.
There's a lot of pessimism out there, just in general and all aspects of life, it feels like at this time. But there's always reason to be optimistic, just as Giuseppe illustrated there in closing. And hey, if you guys enjoyed this video, then you'll absolutely love what Beppe is doing over at his channel. So do be sure to show him some love, linked below. But beyond that, I appreciate you taking the time to come and hang with us. If you liked the video, like the video. If you didn't, then there's the dislike button there as well for you. I'm Adrian. This is Rabona TV, and we'll hopefully catch you in the next one. Peace.